Something we just said, Joel, around the power as a man. So we spoke about that generational of like getting the money, getting the house, and that meant power. In today's society, what do both you gentlemen think is like, if I, for a better word, what's a real man's power? What are some traits do you feel that a man in today's society could call powerful that are different from back then? Joel, do you want to lead?
I'll speak to only myself. I can't think about the other people, but I think that power is when you control yourself and you are not controlled by other people or societal expectations. Like we'll hear people say like, "Oh, she pushed my buttons," but we're not robots. We're bigger than that. So why are we talking about buttons being pushed? Because you have a consciousness that robots don't have. So control yourself. Now that's not to say that that's easy, but control who you are. And I feel like for myself, if somebody's screaming at me or whatever, I have to be in control of who I am and in control of my emotions. And to me, I feel like it takes nerves of steel to not respond in kind, right? So when somebody is screaming at you and you're just walking to your car and you really have zero idea what they did, why they're angry at you, to be the calm one in the situation is, to me, it's a strength and a power that is not, money can't buy you that. Money can't buy you values. Money can't buy, so many things, but money is able to buy you access to stuff. But for me, I feel like knowledge and control, are what create a stronger version of a man. When you're not controlled by other situations, you control yourself. Then I feel like you're more stepping into a truth of who you are, where other people are not controlling you. They're not pushing your buttons, right? They're not.
And the funniest thing is, like, they may be pushing your buttons, but they're your fucking buttons. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you own the fucking buttons. Like, it is your fucking trigger.
Right.
But that's the whole thing that we started this podcast about with the mother wound. So what I realized, and one of the loops that kept playing out in my relationships, is that I was looking at all my relationships for the nurture that I wanted as a boy from my mum that I never got. And growing up, age of 7, dad left. Mum said to me, "I'm the man of the house." I took that literal. So I started I've got 3 brothers and sisters, elders of 5. So I was getting them ready for school, cooking dinners. And so really, like, didn't have that a lot of play in my childhood. Fast forward to my relationships, when partners, and now my wife, would ask me to do the chores, it would jack my nervous system. But I didn't have the emotional intelligence to realize that I was just playing out all of the anger and frustration I had towards my mum. So I was just pumping these women or my partners. And it was beautiful with my wife. She'd done personal development, so she could see through my bullshit. And she's like, "This isn't me. This is your fucking mother wound." So we got a relationship counselor. His name was Shems Hartwell, amazing dude. And we uncovered all this motherhood wound. And so, Mum, if you listen to this podcast, this is something that I was able to do. I haven't actually disclosed this to my mum. But what I did was I had a little pink doll in the living room. And so my eldest boy was maybe 18 months. And so if my wife asked me to hang the washing out or asked me to help with dinner, and I could feel all of that anger coming up, what I would do is I would go have a conversation with Mum, which was replicated in this pink doll. And I would do it openly in front of she was my partner then, but my wife, in front of my kids. And I'd just say, "Mum, not fucking today. This is my house. You're not coming in here." And I'd make fun of this and light of this situation. And after about 6 weeks, I was able to move through and past that. And I was able to voice all the things that I really wanted to say but never said to my mum, because I got taught not to yell at women, and it was like negative, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, that felt that to be able to, like you said, to be in control of that, to not to succumb to those emotions of just from my partner asking something. I think that's very powerful as a man. So, Jamie, what about you? What do you think is like a real power for men in today's society?
I think confidence is real power. When somebody is confident, in themselves, and they don't have to rely on anyone else to lift them up, and they're confident in themselves. You can see them. They can go to work. They're confident. They can approach a woman. They're confident. They can do their finances. They're confident. They don't have. They don't. When your confidence is high, you can take on all these different tasks. You get knocked down, build your confidence back up, and away you go. So I think confidence is a huge thing that we take for granted. Like, yeah, a lot of our little kids need building their confidence up. We see it like, come on, we've got to build their confidence up, and then we're going to go and throw that ball, or we're going to hit that ball, or we're going to go on that bike. And you see the kids smile from ear to ear when they first start pedaling that bike. And you got it, and you praise them up. Where's all that go? And like all of a sudden you're putting them down. We should be lifting our kids up more and more and more. And
I 100% agree with you too. And what I have found within my own personal self, because I want to ask you a question of like, why do you think, or why do you feel men lack confidence? But yeah, something that I see and the way that I built my own confidence, and this is what I'm instilling in my kids, is what some of the biggest confidence builders has been moving through my failures, finding the confidence and the resilience to move through adversity. So something I taught with my children, as an SAS man taught me this, is like, don't pick your kids up. If they fall over, do not pick them up. Put your hand out. Put your hand out to them and let them grab your hand, so that you're always going to show your children that you're there for them, but they have to reach out for help and support rather than just scooping them up. And just when he said that to me, and I started to look at all these parents out there, so many people and parents just scoop their kids up straight away. Oh, Timmy, your knee, and just wrapping them in cotton wool. And that's not building confidence. That's not building resilience. What's going to happen when Timmy is like, his finances are in the mix? Can't walk up to that girl because of the confidence, because mummy's not there to help him. You know what I mean? Why do you gentlemen think that men lack confidence? What have you seen why they lack confidence?
I think part of it is they don't know themselves. It's hard to be confident in what you don't have or know, right? So it's hard to be confident if you ain't got nothing to be confident about.
Yeah. The did you jump it?
Yeah, I do think that with that SAS training, like the confidence, a lot of men lack confidence because they get things done for them. Like they're getting picked up. Like, oh, we'll take care of that. So they haven't built up that resilience. They haven't learned how to pick themselves up. And a lot of it, I do think a lot of it comes from a lot of men today are in their femininity. They're not in like a role as a male or a role as a female. Like I was saying to Joel there before, like men act then feel, women feel then act, and a lot of we're not taught that. We're in our feelings all the time. Oh, I feel scared, I feel this, I feel that. Okay, I know you feel scared, but how on the other side of fear there's courage. So how are we going to get to that point? Like I used to hold a piece of paper up for the young fellas and I'd write fear on it. Okay, now that's fear. What's on the other side of fear? You take that paper away, there's nothing there. And they'd catch a ball and they'd run through that piece of paper. They get through that piece of paper. Oh, there's an open space. There's no fear there. There's nothing there to be frightened of. So that's what I just think. Yeah, we're too much in our. You're right.
Yeah, 100%. I see that a lot. That a lot of men have lost their backbone, and I see a lot of men, they have their, and I'm just going to say it, but they have their nuts in their missus's handbag. That they literally.
I didn't know if you could swear on here, but you got
you can swear.
Take your balls.
Exactly.
grab your balls and say fuck it. Like get over your balls and yell out fuck it. Take that power.
And the phrase courage isn't the absence of fear. So a lot of people freeze when they have that fear come up, but then it doesn't mean like, yes, it's okay to feel scared. Yes, it's okay to feel fear. It's fucking natural to have nerves, but it doesn't mean you can't be courageous simultaneously. And the other thing is that I feel the way to cultivate confidence is putting ourselves into challenging scenarios where we face adversity, where we actually get to see what we're made of. Like, how the fuck are we going to show up in X, Y, and Z? So coming to mentor retreats, workshops, like facing off with ourselves rather than running from the things that are uncomfortable. actually like, cool, I'm going to go explore this. I'm going to go lean into that. Because I feel that so many men have created such a identity and bravado of like, this is who I am, I've got everything together, that anything other than that is going to show that they've just been like literally living a lie, showing everyone something that they're not. And that's a really hard pill to swallow for some men. Of like, actually, do you know what? I am fucking hurting. Do you know what? I am lost. Do you know what? I have low self-esteem. It looks on the outside that I have it all together, but in here, I really feel X, Y, and Z. I feel that a few other things that are really powerful or real power for men, I think, is what we're talking about here, that vulnerability of like being okay, saying, hey, I need fucking help. I need some support. Other thing I think is a power is being able to be assertive as a man, but in a healthy manner. So I see a lot of men leading with dominance and that tyrant, like that energy, but I see a lot of men not being assertive. They get fucking walked all over, that are just nice guys and people pleasers and not stepping into their fullest potential or chasing their dreams or taking risks. Because they don't know how to be assertive. They don't know how, and I'm speaking directly to myself. One of the hardest words I ever learned how to say, or the hardest words one of the hardest words for me to say was no. And I literally only learned how to say that about 6 years ago. And it was so hard and it was especially with my partner, with my wife, saying no to her. So I just say yes to everything. Yeah, cool, let's do it. But I was just leaving myself empty, and I just had no fuel left for myself. And I remember the first day that I said no, the look on her face, because I'd never said no before, and just like, oh, and the story that was just going through my mind. And it all tied back to like, I can't have a mum be angry with me. But I also think that is what it means to be what it means to be a man in today's society, is to know who you are as an individual, what you stand for, what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to, and have the balls or the confidence to actually back that and follow that.